pitch. Change hit in the air to deep right field. Back goes Clemente. It's the save. He's done. Get out of here, baseball. He's gone. Oh, my God. Can you believe it? Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in 4 straight. It was a sweep. In the dirt. It's a wild pitch. Here comes Foster. The Reds win the pennant. Larkins won the game. That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none. Welcome, Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Dunn up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive, hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club.
Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb.
Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again.
The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive. Left center field. Racing back to the line. Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? Did he? He did. He did. Reds win. Reds win. Line to right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line. Doesn't have a chance. The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves. Throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed a no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Holy Moses, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win it. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
All right, Nick. Here we are. Who knows what's going on with the bottom ticker? Nobody knows. But that's obviously not right. But I'll know this. As soon as you think, I'm serious. Some people are going to think this is a bit. I'm trying to make maybe a joke to start the show. No, I'm being dead serious. As soon as you get to the edge of being completely done, ready to move on, starting to look at perhaps the NFL slate and when it starts, starting to dig around some college football schedules. As soon as you get to that moment, this baseball team finds a way to reel you right back in. And you know what, Nick? I think it's kind of funny they split a series against the Pirates. And boy, oh boy, does it feel like maybe they even swept them. I don't know. But that's what happens when the team that you're chasing can't win baseball games either. And it's funny how the way that other teams perform affects quite literally how you feel about your own team. What was doom and gloom a few days ago, Nick, is now all rainbows and sunshine, my friend.
Yeah, we left on Thursday night. We were like, oh, what's Sunday night going to be like? We had no idea what to expect on Sunday night, and certainly would not have expected the vibes to be this high, just splitting the series, and on top of that, losing a game on Friday night as miserably as they did, too. I mean, it's been a wild season, you know. I just, at this point, just along for the ride. We see what happens.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, you don't have a choice. You know, I got to tell you, I think you're a rational person if you think this team isn't very good. I also think you're a rational person if you think this team just needs to find their stride a little bit and is good enough team to get to the postseason and at least be competitive enough to maybe even win a postseason series. You could convince me of both. Now, some call that, you know, a disorder. Some might say that you have some kind of mental kind of wiring situation up there that's just not quite firing on all cylinders when you go back and forth as many times as I have. But I think it's actually the same thing. Today, I said it before, I'll say it again. I don't know how many times this offense is going to have to save the pitching, but it feels like today we finally recouped a 1-0 loss. Today felt like a genuine recoup. I'm not saying they didn't deserve to win. I'm not saying they stole it. But you tell me, look me straight in my face and you tell me that the Cincinnati Reds gave up 8 runs. I mean, they just don't win those games. And yet we find ourselves where they score 14 and it actually mattered. You know? I mean, you can score 26, 23 runs, whatever the hell it was in Baltimore. I don't care what it was. It really didn't matter. I mean, they didn't need to score that many. Today, they needed to score them.
If I told you after you watched the games on Friday and Saturday, and I mean, both teams offensively just looked putrid. The two teams would combine for 30 hits. 30 hits on Sunday.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, I don't know where to go. Like on a show like this, it's kind of wild because you're you know, I mean, yeah, I'm fired up. I mean, I am so thrilled to death that I get more meaningful baseball. That's what this is about to me. Okay? I know for many, maybe it's just like you look at the end of the year and you say, well, you want your team to do X. I'm not there yet. I don't have expectations when it comes to, like you said, you know, if the Reds don't do this, I'm going to be disappointed in them. I just want my heart pumping. I want my heart pumping as long as I can get it to pump to watch this baseball team. And you know what? We got 3 games against a really good team at home, and then we got to go play a team on the road that we all know who the hell it is. And you know what? They can't. I'm going to put it out in the atmosphere right now, and some people are going to say I'm crazy for saying this. I'm going to say it because I ain't scared to say it. They can't keep doing this. The Brewers are not this good. We all know they're not this good, and by God, we're going to march right in there, and we're going to hand it to them. Watch us. I'm telling you right now, mark it.
They're in Cincinnati.
I'm just saying, I don't care where it's played. It can be played on the moon. The Brewers are not they're not going to do what everyone thinks they're going to do, which is mop us. They're not going to do it. We're going to handle business for the first time in decades and turn around the absolute pessimism that lives in this town. And you know how many times people walked up to me today and said, I tell you, they're just not good enough. It's not going to work out for us. We have been psychologically abused for so long that if it's just me, I am going to make it my own willpower to get over the proverbial hump with this Brewers team. I'm sick and tired of always getting beat down by a team. Now, I say this hesitantly because they've won like 200 games. Can't be this good.
Well, it's important to note that they're in Cincinnati because I think it would be great to see a huge crowd next weekend, really support them. And to your point, my favorite moment of Reds fandom in terms of like the most proud I've been to be a Reds fan was in Game 5 of the 2012 NLDS. It was there. Reds get down 6-0, and you know the history in this town.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go again. That crowd did everything they could possibly do to try to will that team back in. I would like to see that kind of mindset next weekend in Cincinnati. Screw what the Brewers have done in the past. Come out there, support this team, and try to give them every ounce of energy you can in what's going to be a huge series for this team.
Massive series. Obviously playing on Apple TV on Friday night as well. It doesn't really get a whole lot bigger than this in the spot that the Reds find themselves in. This is the type of opportunities that they've given themselves a chance to have now. And quite frankly, to be fair, the Mets have too. I'm not gonna act like the Mets haven't helped. But I guess I'm just to the point where I'm tired of being being scared of the Brewers. I really hope that the rest of the city finally just says the hell with it too. I mean, let's not just skittish around these guys. Just take it to them. Punch them right in the face when they get in town. You know what? I'll tell you what. We'll send a message. I know I'm typically against this, so we're not going to try to hit them. Let's throw 3 fastballs literally as fast and as high as we can right when they get in there. Not going to hit them, to be clear. I'm not condoning hitting people. But Randy Johnson fastballs to Larry Walker for those that, consumed baseball back then. But anyways, as far as the series goes, they split. I think you asked me, Nick, what was going to happen. I said, I think they're going to split. I didn't think they were going to split in the manner they did, but they did split. So, I don't know. There's a lot to talk about in a show like this. I'm sure we can jump into it. You can do the supers here before we do the box score recap, and then we'll jump into that and do a show. Per usual, as always, if you just jumped in, thank you for watching this show. As goofy and stupid as it is, please like it. Tell a friend about it. That'd be great. 74 likes, 370 people in here. That's on me. Hand up. Accountability. That's a me problem. I haven't told you guys to hit the like button yet, and that would be very, very kind of you if you would. If you're on your TV, I still don't know how to do it on the TV. Got to be honest with you. So if you're on the TV, figure that out on your own. You can ask some AI, ChatGPT, Grok, whatever other
or just
services.
Pull out your phone for 2 seconds, hit like,
Or
and go
do
back
that.
to the
Yeah,
TV.
that'd be cool too. But let's get some supers. Let's do that. Jacob Doyle says, awkward question. Why is the cheap rental player like Andujar immediately a better hitter, not player, but a better hitter than most of our homegrown core? I don't know. Come on, Jacob. That ain't quite the super chat we're looking for on a night like tonight, but I would say Marte hit a bomb. Did you see that? That's some home kind of grown talent. I don't know. Are we taking credit for him? I mean, he did come from another organization. We did pay a relatively pretty price for it. Are we just talking strictly draft all the way through, or what?
You can't take credit for that. That trade was already a lost trade for the Reds that they can never win anything back on. I mean, the Mariners fleeced the Cincinnati Reds.
Right.
I mean, even though Marte doesn't have a year of service time, I mean, the trade's over. Mariners won, Reds lost, loser franchise. Noelvi Marte can do nothing to change that.
I heard the sarcasm at the very beginning of all of that, so shout out to Nick. Nick's got so many receipts and just absolute, what would be the scar tissue, I guess is what we're gonna call it, from all of the Reds fandom every time a Reds trade somebody to get a prospect. But that's here nor there. That's in the past, Nick. We're gonna move on. That's what they teach you, I think, if you try to read some psychological books to help you move on, Nick. We're gonna move on. But as far as being a better hitter than our homegrown core, I don't know what we're calling our homegrown core. Is that Matt McClain, Ellie, and Steer? But Steer came over in a trade, so that can't be it. Maybe CES. I don't know. My answer is I don't give a damn. Really, who the hell
Ellie
hits
De
the
La
ball?
Cruz is homegrown, I think.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well.
He's okay.
Yeah, I mean, let's just be thankful that the guy has played well since he's gotten here. We've had plenty of guys come here and not foot the bill, if you want to call it that. And so far he's playing well, but give it a week and the rest of the fan base will be out on him if he doesn't hit up some more home runs. Reds batter up says, I want what he had. Is he talking about me? I don't know. If he's talking about me, then I'm here. I'm high on life, as they say. Mark Fetters says Spencer Steer is good at baseball. You know what? Spencer Steer today, that was a big day today.
Good yesterday, too. 2 hits yesterday.
Oddly enough, I think I've said this before. I'll say it again until I'm blue in the face. What am I going to say, Nick? What am I going to say about Spencer Steer?
The Reds need him.
What am I going to say? Yeah, I mean, as stupid as it sounds, this offense goes probably, maybe you can convince me otherwise, but it's just like, it's going to be really hard for this offense to get to a spot where you feel good about it if Spencer Steer's not a big part of it. It just is. He is playing a premium position, and at the end of the day, we need him, man. And I think he is a little bit better than maybe he's played at some points this year. There's no doubt about it. But
and he at least can hit the ball to the ballpark. I mean, that's
exactly. Yeah, that's part of. Yeah, you know what? Let's give him some more credit for that, because I think if nothing else, there's times where we've been down on Spencer Steer, but his ceiling is at least high enough to change a baseball game, right? That we've had enough guys in this lineup where their ceiling is at best maybe 3 hits in the game, and they're all singles.
And to the point, like, it's just at this point, Spencer Steer is what he is. They're not going to take him off first base.
Right.
We'll ride out Spencer Steer. We can talk about it in the offseason if he's the first baseman for 2026.
Exactly.
There's no point discussing this anymore.
Exactly. He's played way too good defensively for the Reds to even want to make even a thought of changing it. And they stuck through him when he was playing so poorly at first base that, I mean, there's no way they're going to not stick with him now. So might as well just move on to another subject, whether you agree or disagree. Optimistic Reds fan says, Mets want the Reds to make the wild card so bad. Respect. Yeah, I mean, listen, if you're a New York fan, Mets fan, obviously that is, you're it's kind of falling apart, isn't it? But there's always time to rebound. If the Reds need to keep finding ways to win, series. And then, as we all know, as I said before, there are 6 games in September that are back-to-back against the Padres and the Mets, and that's gonna be a massive week in this town if you're a Reds fan. Reds batter up says the Brewers are good at baseball. Face it. Yeah, I mean, I'll face it, but I'm not gonna. You know what? I'm tired. And you know what? I know as fans, it doesn't really probably matter how we feel. Really, all that matters is what the actual players feel. But as contagious, Nick is trying so hard to get this bottom ticker to work, and it's just not going to work for him.
Someone else is. I think Craig might be behind the scenes, and now he's got it up, and I can't get rid of it.
Gotcha.
There we go.
They're just
got rid of it.
Yeah. It's just my brain is like a squirrel. You never seen squirrels like or whatever. Dogs with squirrels like squirrel. All right. Anyways, back to where I was going with this. It doesn't matter how I feel more than less, or Nick feels, or any of the rest of us feel in regards to whether we're timid or whether we're worried about the Brewers or any of that. All that really matters is what happens in that clubhouse, no doubt. But I just want to have the mindset, maybe for my own self, to feel better, perhaps. But at the end of the day, it just seems like we're always fearful of what the Brewers are going to do to us. It's like you're walking in the ring waiting to get punched instead of trying to punch someone. That's how I look at it. I'm not dodging and weaving anymore. I'm ready to go. If I get knocked out, I get knocked out. I'll live with getting knocked out, but I'm not going to sit here and tiptoe around the situation that is the Brewers are pretty good. I also say this, and maybe I'm completely wrong. The Brewers aren't this good, okay? Like, they're not historically one of the best teams that's ever played this game good over the past whatever it's been, Nick, 90 days. I don't even know the stats in front of me, but I got news for you. If you look at probably the last 90 days of what this baseball team's done in Milwaukee, you can compare it to probably the best teams of all time, and they stack right up.
I don't know, man. This NL Central is stupid. I mean, there's only 2 teams in baseball that have a run differential of above plus 100. The Brewers are plus 132. The Cubs are plus 118. I mean, the fact that the Brewers are 73-44, the Cubs are 67-49, and the Reds are somehow still 5 games under 500 is almost hard to believe. I mean, the Pittsburgh Pirates, like, for example, I was looking at them. They've played terrible against the NL Central. Like, they are, I had it. What was their record against the NL Central? Maybe it's not going to expand, but they have a terrible record against the NL Central. Like, I don't think they're that far against 500 against everyone else. I mean, this division just may be great.
Could be. I mean, Not that it could be. It is at the top for sure. And I would even argue that the Pirates are a competitive team. Now, I get that there are times where they don't look that way, but it seems like within the division, or at least when we play them, they find a way to be pretty damn competitive. So we'll see. At the end of the day, I guess my point is I'm just done with the whole Brewers thing. Donnie Miller says, Ellie's first AB, each game's looking like the Candy Man. Need Ellie to get hot to make a run. Didn't he get a big hit today in the first inning? Am I wrong on that? Seriously. I'm not trying to be funny. Ellie
had 2 hits today.
No, I'm saying his first at bat. Pretty sure his first at bat was a base hit.
No, second at bat was RBI. Second one.
All right, sorry.
Real quick, Pirates are 2 games above 500 against the rest of the National League. They have a winning record against the. They're 15-11 against the NL East, and they're 11-13 against the NL West.
So they've gotten beat down everywhere else,
and they American League killed.
Yeah, the American League beat them up. All right. Well, as always, we got our box score recap presented by Nick Kirby. Once we get through that, we'll obviously do the deep drive, and then we'll get into the nuts and bolts of this Reds baseball team and see what's rest in store. Nick, if you're ready, take it away, my friend.
All right, Reds taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. Reds looking to get out of Pittsburgh with a series split. Zack Littell against Mike Burrows. Burrows cruised through the first 2 innings. He struck out 4 Reds batters, but the top of the third was not as kind. Brian Hayes smoked a double at 103 off the bat. Then Gavin Lux walked with 2 outs, and Ellie De La Cruz singled home the game's first run to make it 1-0 Reds. And then Miguel Andujar, batting cleanup ahead of Austin Hayes on Sunday, hit a 3-run bomb to make it 4-0 Reds. Now, Zack Littell had pitched around base runners in the second and third, but the Pirates scored 3 runs in the fourth to make it 4-3. The Pirates scored another run off Littell in the fifth to tie the game, and Littell would not survive the inning. Final line, 4 2/3, 9 hits, 4 runs, 0 walks, 3 strikeouts. Reds responded right away in the fifth with 3 runs off RBI doubles from Marte and Steer. Marte's double hit 108 off the bat, 7-4 Reds. Luis May walked 3 straight batters in the 7th after he relieved Mole with the runner on and walked in a run to make it 7-5. But Graham Ashcraft came in and got the Reds out of a big bases-loaded jam. The Reds responded again in the top of the 8th. Noelvi Marte singled, and then Spencer Steer crushed a 2-run home run, 439 feet into the left field bleachers. The Reds' first home run at PNC Park in 10 games. Actually, that was Andujar, sorry. But that's 9-5 Reds. The pesky Pirates scored 3 more runs off Ashcraft in the 8th, thanks in part to a pretty ugly error from Matt McClain to make it a 9-8 game. But once again, the Reds responded in the top of the 9th. Noelvi Marte crushed a 427-foot 3-run homer to deep center field to make it 12-8 Reds. The Reds would score 2 more runs in the inning on a bases-loaded walk by TJ Friedel and a sac fly by Matt McClain to make it 14-8. Brent Suter put up a rare 0 in this game in the bottom of the 9th. Reds win 14-8. Reds now 62-57 on the season, and the Reds are now just 1.5 games out of the final NL wildcard spot.
Say that last part again. You can say it again. I know we got the DSC.
1.5 games out of the final NL wildcard spot.
Just one more time.
1.5 games out of the final National League wildcard spot.
I'd do it again just to make it funny, but I'm not.
Okay, I'm done.
All right.
I'm done.
Deep drive of the day. I was gonna do that bit and see how long we could go. My over under was 4.5. I think we would have gotten maybe the over, but who knows? Deep drive of the day is sponsored by DSC. DSC is a leader in renewable commodities for biofuel production, specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information. It came off the bat of Spencer Steer, his 14th of the year. This was actually an absolute bomb. 105.6 off the bat, 439 feet, and it would give big home run. I know it doesn't seem like a big home run. Maybe when you look at the numbers of the whole thing, it says it was only an 8% boost. But boy, it felt like it was a little bit bigger than that based off the way the game was trending. Reds would be going to 96%, as we all know, it would be 100%. Nick, I mean, the story of the game is just the power. I mean, that's the story of the game. I know that maybe you could make it about just kind of the bullpen. I don't know where you kind of want to run with that or lack thereof, but the truth of the matter is they power through. They find a way to get some power, and it's just funny. It seems obvious that when you find a way to hit the ball over the fence, it sounds stupid to say, but it just seems like maybe there's been this narrative for too long that has went around town about how you don't have to do that to be very successful. I'm not suggesting that you can't have some success without it, but I think today was a perfect indication of when you have some guys that can run into some pitches, boy, oh boy, does it change everything. You find yourself, pounding out a bunch of hits, yes, but some big blows, some big swings that kind of catapulted what was, I guess, the runs in this baseball game. So you have 1.5 back. I don't know where you kind of want to go off the box score recap, but there's a variety of ways to go on a night like tonight. I'm going to let you lead us.
Yeah, I mean, I guess just overall, Reds are just obviously very fortunate to be a 1.5 back with the Mets playing the way they are. I think I would caution the Mets. Caution with the Mets is they are a very volatile team. Right before this skid, they had won 7 games in a row, and they've had several other big winning streaks throughout the year. So at some point, that team is going to play better. But you've closed the gap, and I guess the good news for the Reds is they didn't really play great themselves to get to this point. So you think maybe the Reds can have a better run too. But yeah, I mean, you're in this spot, and you look at the Mets, you look at the Padres, you look at maybe some of the other teams that could fall back into the same spot. It's hard to really see this Reds team stacking up with any of those teams. Yeah. But the longer you hang around and the smaller you make the sample of games, the better chance you have, because you get into September. I mean, anything can happen. And we'll talk about it at the end with Hunter Green back. I don't want to go too far because injuries can really deflate you quick. But the Reds' starting pitching depth, I think, is better than most of these other teams in the race. And you're a starting pitcher injury or two away from some of these other contenders, from them kind of really going into a tailspin. So it's just really just keep hanging around. I don't care how you do it. Keep hanging around. Get this thing into September, and let's see what happens.
Exactly. I think that it's just that. It's trying to – we have a tough stretch of baseball in regards to the teams that we have to play. Now, the odd thing with this whole situation is the way that this club has performed all year. I don't know if that's good or bad. I really don't. I know some people would joke and say, well, of course you want to play the Rockies. Of course you want to play the White Sox. Okay, yeah. I'm not going to sit here and act like I wouldn't want to play some of the bottom dwellers of the league. But it seems, and you just watched it, I mean, you split against Pittsburgh, and to be fair, I don't think that you could have asked for a significant amount more. Maybe you'd think they could take 3 or 4. A sweep of a 4-game series is nuts. But 2-2 seems like a reasonable outcome. But you do lose a series against the Braves. You go back a couple weeks ago, you lose a series against the Nationals. Every team that you're probably supposed to take care of, it seems like they're incapable of doing it. And then every team that you would say, oh, the Rays are coming to town, they got a lot to play for. They have a chance to probably make some buys at the deadline, and they sweep them. And, I don't know. I mean, I know you can point to the schedule all you want. It just seems like that this year has not made all that big of a difference. Now, I hope, not jinxing it, knocking on wood here, but you're right. Hang around till September and give yourself a legitimate chance when you go and play against the Mets head-to-head, that you have a chance to kind of maybe, be very optimistic about it. You can kind of put the boot on the throat a little bit. You can kind of maybe take a 2-game lead to a 4-game lead. I guess you wouldn't be able to go 2 games. You'd have to go 3 or 1, but you get the point. So, last thing I want to say, and it's not braggadocious. I don't want it to come off that way, of course. But I when people sit here and suggest that these, some of these games at the end of the year, maybe don't have more weight than others. But I do want to remind everybody we had a tie baseball game in some late innings on a Sunday in New York that many reasonable fans, I think many reasonable fans would say we kind of let that slip away. Just saying we'd be a half game up, Nick. I do want everyone to understand that. We would have a half game lead right now. So, you know, we can act like it's not a big deal. We can say, oh, you know, just no big deal. You're acting like no big deal. Okay, well, what if I told you they had a half game lead in the wild card and instead of a game and a half back? It kind of seems like a big deal, but that's here nor there. You got your take on Noel V. Marte. I just got my take off with the Sunday baseball game in New York.
No,
or even.
That's the most complexing thing about this team is it doesn't feel like they've stole that many games this year. No. If there's been significantly more that have gotten stolen from them than they've stolen. I mean, you just think back the last couple of weeks. I mean, that game against the Dodgers that they gave away late. The game on Friday night they gave away. I mean, it's like in some ways they're like playing with fire, but in some ways it's like, does this swing back? I don't know. I really don't.
I was thinking about that the other day. Why does it feel that way? Is it just because we're fans? Is it because it's the truth? Or is it because we have good pitching? I don't know what the three of those answers are, but it feels like maybe since we have good pitching, we expect to win the games that we win, maybe 3-1. And we wouldn't call maybe a game that we won. What was the game against Tampa where, you know, you have Brady Singer went out and damn near threw a complete game shutout and you hold on to the ninth inning with the save there. I don't know if that's stealing, right? Like, it doesn't feel like stealing, but you are winning some games that most teams aren't going to win based off the fact that they don't have the pitching that we have. So maybe if you have an offense that could maybe score with the best of them and you score 3 or 4 runs late and you take the lead late and you win, maybe it feel like you steal in that because that's just the way your team dynamic is. But this team just doesn't seem to have that. Like, it doesn't feel like they rip away games from other teams. Now, to be fair, I don't know what of those three is actually truthful, but it's just something to keep in mind. Like, I don't know if maybe it's just the style we play, and that's why it doesn't feel like we take too many of those. But or you know, you want to be the real optimistic guy, Nick. Maybe they're on the way. I mean, maybe we're due for a few of those. Because if we do get 3 or 4 games that you feel like we steal, that we kind of feel like you over the course of a season you'd get to, that, who knows? Maybe that's the difference.
I mean, they are 2-7 in extra inning games. I mean,
yeah, the Manfred man is not good to us.
No, that might be the worst record in baseball.
No, we don't.
I mean,
we don't score the Manfred man.
The Rockies are 1-5. I don't think I see a team that has. I think everyone has more than 2 wins, except for the Rockies. Everyone has more than 2 wins, and like not like there's not someone that's like 3-11 or anything either. Like they legitimately, they don't have the percentage there, but I'm pretty sure the Rockies are the only team that's been worse in extra innings than the Reds.
That's a good point. I mean, one would like to think that you'd end up being, you should be right around 500. I see people in the chat trying to pull out the Bill Parcells quote, which is you are what your record is. I mean, the baseball we're well above 500 at this point. You'd like to think if you are what your record is, you'd be better than 2-7, right? You'd be better than 2-7 in extra inning games, but some of that might just be philosophy. I don't know. I don't want to get into the weeds of that on a show like this. Who cares? I mean, it does seem like
this team would be built better for extra innings.
Yeah, you're right. I don't know. Our situational hitting and small ball, for whatever reason, can't get the free damn runner at second base in 90% of the time. But that's here nor there. We're not going to get into it. Who gives a rat's tail? We Reds are 1.5 games back. They just took they split a series, baby. We split a series against the Pirates. You know, I don't know. Are you supposed to get fired up about that? I'm not saying you should be. But I do think that, you know, you should take pride in the fact that this baseball team's a game and a half back when let's face it, they have had stretches this season where they have not been good. They've survived and advanced. They are the definition of surviving and advancing in sports. Somehow they have escaped death far too often. You know what? This all comes down to one thing, man. And if we can do it for the rest of the year, I might go out and say a bold take. I was going to say they had to win 5 in a row, right, Nick? I think I said that, and I still do believe that. But I'll also say, if they don't get swept the rest of the year, then you know what? I don't sign me up. They might do it. I mean, that's their recipe for success. As much as we want to make a joke of it.
40 series, 0 sweeps. 40 series with this team.
Right. They lost the first 2 games of the series, guys. Like, they could have easily. I mean, yeah, I don't know how else to tell everybody. Like, if you want to sit here and sit back and act like it's not a big deal that the Reds found a way to win the last 2 games of this series, then I mean, you're fooling yourselves. You can look at it as a whole and say they split the series and be upset, but I mean, my point is this: get a grip on your fandom. If you think this team's so damn good that they have to and or should take 3 of 4 from anybody, this team at times doesn't look like they could take 3 of 4 from the Indianapolis Indians. I don't know if that's what they're still called, but I doubt it, considering the Indians word is not allowed in Major League Baseball anymore. They are. Holy smokes, Indianapolis has survived.
Good pitch. They got some good pitching there.
Do they? Of course, you would know that, Kirby. Who gives a damn what the Indianapolis Indians? I thought you were. Yeah, but I know. But I do, Nick. You think I give a rat's tail of what the hell the Indianapolis Indians pitching looks like? I could give a damn. Okay, I barely care about what my kids have to eat for breakfast in the mornings. As long as I got some food, we're good. Anyways, I digress. I guess we moved to the offense. We were a game and a half back. We'll talk about the offense. Noelvi Marte, big day today. I'll let you just completely go to town here because I know this has kind of been a little bit of a sour subject for you. Last year was a little disheartening. I know he looked bad. He has looked bad. I mean, let's face it. He had a terrible year. He came off of PEDs. He couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. He went to the Dominican League. Couldn't hit there. Went to spring training. Couldn't hit there. And then all of a sudden, I don't know. Do you remember this, Nick? Do you remember this? This guy was buried on the depth chart. Wasn't even a thought of using him on opening day. And then all of a sudden, an injury here, injury there, and here he comes. I thought you said something that was pretty, nice in the sense that maybe you shouldn't give up on these guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a reason why you shouldn't. Like a guy like CES, like look at Noelvi Marte and kind of how quickly he's been able to flip the script. And I saw a lot of people, well, Noelvi Marte was the 11th ranked prospect in baseball. Yeah, but he wasn't supposed to be a better hitter than Christian Encarnacion Strand. The reason he was the number 11 prospect was largely because he played shortstop, not because he was going to be a right fielder. Right. If the prospect ranking guys would have thought Noelvi Marte was going to be a right fielder, he would have been a top 50 prospect because they don't rank those corner outfielders unless they are an elite hitter, and he never had elite offensive numbers. So that's why I say, again, does it mean Christian Encarnacion Strand's gonna have a resurgence in 2026? I don't know, but it's a reason why you shouldn't give up and think that's not possible. I mean, Noelvi Marte last year, let's call it, like he had one of the worst seasons in Reds history, probably. I mean, for a guy that played every day, I mean, he was as bad. He was terrible defensively. He couldn't take a walk. Like guy had like 4 walks in like 2-3 months. He's a completely different player. His swing's so sweet. He's hitting the ball hard too. It doesn't feel fluky, And I think he's gonna have lumps. Like I don't think Noelvi Marte is gonna have this nice little clean trajectory up by any means. Like he's gonna go ice cold at sometimes, and I'm sure everyone's going, oh well, Noel, that he got all he got, and he'll probably go through it. But man, what he's doing right now, it's not just this year. It's the whole future of this free team. Because remember, the one benefit of Noelvi Marte taking the juice last year, he didn't get a year of service time. He lost a year of service time. So you have this guy longer. I remember saying that last year. People did spit in my face.
You're so disgusting. You're so disgusting. As soon as I remember vividly being in the van driving through the middle of what beautiful state we were in. I don't even remember where we were at exactly. I don't know if it was Utah.
I think we were in Utah.
You know where I'm going with this. You know exactly where I'm going with this. It's absolutely disgusting, the words that came out of his mouth. But I got to tell you, this is where Nick's brain lives. It lives in service time land. He looks over at me and goes, you know what? This isn't good right now, but I got to tell you, having Noelvi Marte when he's 29 years old instead of 22 years old or whatever the hell he was when he got busted, he said, that might not be a bad thing. And I was like, this guy's sick. What a sicko this guy is. Man, maybe you're right. I don't know. Maybe that last year of service time is going to be what gets us over the proverbial hump to win the World Series.
2030 Chatterbox Reds, man. We're
yeah.
going to be lit.
Boy, oh boy. Who knows where we'll be then. Kids will probably be doing the show or something. Spencer Steer, next in line to maybe get some praises. Had some big moments. He's really had some big moments over the last, 2 or 3 series at this point. Dodgers had a big moment. Had a big moment. Why am I drawing a blank right now? Next series. Yeah, last series. Nick, I need your help right now. What am I missing?
I don't know. He'd been struggling up until yesterday. He was like 2 for
he had a big
20
hit,
in August. I think that was the only hit he had the whole month.
It was the only hit he had, yeah.
Cubs series?
Yeah, the Cubs.
Yeah, he had the big hit in the Cubs series.
Yeah, big hit in the Cubs series. That's crazy. My brain. I'll tell you what, guys.
He was interviewed after the game.
Yeah, he was he was Jim Day's guy. I am semi-concerned with my brain. It's just not firing. Might be because I had a long day today, but that's here nor there. I don't know. I keep feeling like I just do the same take with Spencer Steer the whole time. Like I don't mean to be rude. He's not been very good this year, but he's been good lately in the right spots. And you know what? Like I'm with you. There's really no reason to sit here and discuss what you do with him or where he's going to go, et cetera. He's the first baseman, and the truth is that he's played so good defensively that there's some value there that maybe we underappreciate on this show from time to time. I'll openly admit that. I don't know if I give what he does defensively at first base enough credit. If we had a guy over there that couldn't catch a cold and was booting balls left and right, but they were mashing, if you want to call it that, would we look at them a little bit better than Spencer because he just struggled? He had the quote the other day. Nick, I should say Tito had the quote the other day about Spencer Steer, right? And I'm paraphrasing here, but he basically said that he didn't have the best start. I think he said he was injured for the first 50 or 60 at bats. I guess I'll save it for another show, but my question to Tito would have been immediately, why did you do that? What was the purpose? You just hurt the team and you hurt him. Like, you basically made it seem like he was struggling when in reality he was hurt. That's a crazy ass thing to say too, by the way. I'm not trying to be rude to our beat reporters, but like, what? We're just going to let a guy basically come right off the DH, not play in spring training at all, and be saying he's hurt for 50 to 60 at-bats? And we're cool with that? Anyway, that's here nor there. So I'm giving Spencer Steer some credit. That's what I'm giving him. Like, he was hurt. It seemed like he was hurt, but he was hurt. And I think that if anything else, that kind of first impression of the year maybe steered, pun somewhat intended there, steered the direction of how I felt about him for what has been all year now.
Yeah, I think he's been probably closer to. It's been closer when you give him the defensive value of first base and his overall offense. He's been probably closer to an average first baseman since that stretch. So yeah, I mean, but again, he does have power. So right now you're looking for. I mean, you're on a 40-game sprint to the finish line at this point. So who can get hot and carry you? Guys that have power can give you extra boost, and there's not enough of those guys to go around. So I would love for Spencer Steer to completely make me look like an idiot, and we eat our words at the end of the year, and we enjoy watching this team play in the playoffs. There's just, at this point, there's no reason discussing this every night. We can table this till the off season. Is he the guy in 2026 or not? Is he the guy now, and it's it?
100%. And in 2025, Spencer Steer is the first baseman, period. And there's no really reason to discuss it otherwise. Maybe we could get into the DH. I think that's we could have some reasonable debate about that. Andujar, is he going to hit? Is he going to stay hitting? I mean, he got a home run today off a right-handed pitcher.
I'm on the back half.
All right, perfect. I didn't know we had a back half. This show's been a long time since we had the back half. Boy, you know the Reds are back when there's a back half. I mean, we've gone maybe a week on this show with just what you get on the front. Speaking of what you get on the front, 988 is on the front, and I want to let everybody know you can text and or call day or night 988 to get help when you might need it and or when maybe a loved one might need it. It's okay to not be okay. You can also visit mantherapy.org for a variety of topics that maybe kind of giving you some issues within your life, and it gives you some workarounds on how to handle those and deal with it. So, reminder, 988, text or call, anonymous, hotline 24/7. Also, want to let everybody know there is a disc golf tournament in Northern Kentucky. Now, I don't know if many of you kind of like understand how legit some of these disc golf folks are, but I do want you to know that the Disc Golf Professional Tour, LWS Open, at Idlewood, Burlington, Kentucky, August 22nd through the 24th. It's going to feature 150 of the top disc golfers in the entire world. Okay? We're not talking just Ohio or Kentucky or Indiana. We're talking the world, folks. The top 150 in the world. Food trucks, Rheingeist beer, free ad there. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it. Food trucks, beer, and other vendors. Tickets at lwsopen.com or DGPT. Let me say that again because I kind of butchered it. DGPT.com. So shout out to them. Shout out to that disc golf tournament. Looking forward to that. Might sneak down there. I can't throw a frisbee worth a damn. I'd ask you, can you throw a frisbee? No, I cannot throw a frisbee. Right. I mean, I like to think that I'm athletic and I can do a lot of things. That's one thing I've never been able to do. You have him, Miguel Andujar, on the back half of the rundown. I was going there, and you said, no. You must wait, sir. DH against all pitching. How long would you ride it?
Oh, I don't know. I was surprised that he was batting in front of Austin Hayes. That was a bit of a surprise to me. I think I understand like the putting someone that maybe isn't great against right-handed pitching behind Ellie because they hit crush lefties. So Andujar and Hayes both kind of fit that mold because it does make, if you're going to bring in a lefty, right, you at least have a punishment for bringing in a lefty if you're going to have them try to go through Ellie, and unless they're able to perfectly time it to where they can go right after Ellie, which you can't always do. So I understand the value in that. I don't really know why I would have Andujar and Hayes back-to-back. It feels like that might be a little much. I don't know. I mean, Andujar's a guy that again, you're spreading to the finish at this point. He's not terrible against right-handed pitching. I'm not against it. I'm not even a big Jake Fraley guy. I still think Jake Fraley's probably a better hitter against right-handed pitching than Andujar.
I don't know if here's what I would say for a fan base that I think clamors for the idea that we'd like a little more pop, and I think that's a reasonable expectation from this fan base is that we need more pop. It's pretty evident today in other games that, you know what, when you hit the ball over the fence, it doesn't really hurt you, does it? I mean, I don't know where that narrative started or where it's going to go. I'm not trying to downplay any other guys, but it seems like Andujar has a much higher ceiling when it comes to the opportunity of providing some pop and power. No disrespect to Jake Fraley. Would I like to think that maybe Jake Fraley is probably over the course of 162 games going to have a better slash line and or perhaps have a better OPS than Andujar against right-handed pitching? Yes, I do. But I will tell you, I don't know, and I'd like to see it with my own eyes. I think this guy could possibly be one of those, like, white horse coming in to save the day type situations where you just get, over the course of a week and a half, you hit 6-7 home runs and you put the team on your back for just a short amount of time, and then maybe it fizzles out. But again, to be clear, as you said, this is a race to the finish. We don't have time to sit there and look at the back of baseball cards, Nick, in my opinion, and say, well, this is going to play itself out for sure this way. I'm going to play the hot hand. And maybe, again, I've not seen this guy hit but for a couple weeks. It just seems like there's a higher ceiling than some of those other cats that we've ran out there. And I'm not even going to mention their names. We all know who they are. I'm not going to be disrespectful to them. They can hit left-handed pitching, yes, and so can he. But more importantly, in my opinion, when there's a right-hander that comes in and we don't have Will Benson, and I know people are going to laugh when I say that, but like, where's the lottery ticket? Doesn't seem like we have that. Maybe he's the lottery ticket.
Yeah, Andujar's, I mean, he's had an interesting career. Like, he hit 27 home runs in 2018 with the Yankees, and then like he only has like a handful of home runs since then. He's had a lot of injuries. He's had some years where he just completely fell off a cliff and didn't stay in the majors the whole year. I mean, this is a guy that hasn't played more than 75 games in the big leagues since 2018. So, yeah, I don't know. He's only played in, today was his 67th game of the season. Like, for some context, Will Benson's played in 61 games, and Will Benson spent half of his year in AAA. So, yeah, I don't really know what Andujar is, but right now, I guess he's a guy that has some upside, that seems to be seeing the ball well. That I say this with all due respect to you. I don't think it's like the Austin Wins level of luck. So, like, I have a little more willing to ride it out. I'm sorry. I know that was a stray. I didn't know. I was trying to think of another player to say.
I want you to know something right now. If it wasn't for Trevino and Austin Wins, we wouldn't be a game and a half back, Nick. We had an all-star catcher, and they were between Trevino and Wins for about 3 months on this baseball team. All right? Yeah. And then old Tyler Stevenson waddles his old out, but I want to stop. It's a kid's show, so I'm kind of mumbling right now because I want to say some things. And you know what? I'm trying to be nice. But he hasn't been an all-star, okay? Hasn't been quite the level of production we once had between the dynamic duo of Austin Wins and Trevino. Now,
I mean, the Reds have gotten it great this year, Trace. I mean, they had Austin Wins. They got the best out of him. They ship him to Oakland or Sacramento. He hasn't played worth anything in Oakland. Now they get a guy from Sacramento, whatever. Now they get a guy from the A's. He's playing better than he played. I mean, the Reds just get the best, and Sacramento gets the worst.
Oh, I bet the folks in Sacramento are really crying home right now about that. I bet they're losing sleep over the fact that they didn't get the best out of Austin Wins. Anyway, speaking about getting the best out of somebody, we thought we had the best in somebody on his first start. Littell went out through a gym in Chicago today. Maybe not what you would consider to be a quote-unquote gym. I guess your thoughts on him. He was never supposed to be, in my opinion, he was never supposed to be the shutdown guy. So what the expectations were with him, I don't know, but we'll see.
Full transparency, I didn't watch a single pitch of Littell. I was in the state of Pennsylvania today, though, and I was on a pirate ship.
Wow. Interesting.
But I was not at the Reds Pirates game in Pennsylvania. I listened to the radio. I got to see the last couple innings and watch the condensed game, and you don't really get to see a whole lot of the pitch mix in the condensed game. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, he gave up 100 hard hit balls today, but doesn't walk anyone. Even when he's getting lit up, that guy just refuses to ever walk a batter. And so, yeah, I mean, I think you're going to get some of this. You're going to get some of what you saw with Chicago. He's just another arm to help get you through a season, and he's a hell of a lot better than probably based on what Chase Petty's done the last couple starts of AAA. He's a hell of a lot better than what you're getting out of Chase Petty right now.
Yeah, and I think that's what the Reds seen, right? And they pushed the idea that they needed bullpen help is why they did it. And I'm not trying to give an out to the front office. I also think they had a starting pitching problem too. I mean, let's face it. We still are. We're relying on guys that have not ever done this for this long. Now, hopefully, we got a guy coming up here in a minute that we can get back and that will help the depth. But the truth of the matter is that we are skating on thin ice for what I would call a pretty significant part of this season in regards to our starting pitching depth. I mean, it felt like between Andrew Abbott and Nick Lodolo, those two guys have not showcased the ability to go all year long and pitch effectively. So I guess that will lead us into what could be Hunter Green, but we'll save that for just a minute. The bullpen did come in. Ashcraft is continuing to give up runs. Full transparency of what you said, I did not get a chance to really see much of that kind of outing. I don't know what to make of it. I mean, I just feel like we just don't have a ton of guys we can trust back there. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, outside of Santillan and Pagan, and Barlow. I mean, Barlow's definitely
Barlow's
in there as well.
been insanely good.
Yeah. That's about it. Sam will give up a run today, but overall, I mean, I think I like most of what I'm seeing out of him. Luis May, I mean, just like, man, it's tough. Guy just can't throw strikes consistently. But you kind of have to ride with Graham Ashcraft at this point, whether you're kind of losing faith in him or not. You kind of have to. I don't know what other choice there is.
No,
it's why it is why like the health of Lodolo and Green and trying to get Martinez back to the bullpen, even though Martinez just pitched to Jim his last time out, he can. I mean, because he can go 2-3 innings at a time in that bullpen, and that just can completely change the whole look of the bullpen, at least on certain days.
Yeah, Maxwell's been a little bit of a disappointment too, because I was hoping that he would kind of maybe be a guy that you could bring up, and he was going to be lightning in a bottle, and then all of a sudden, he catches fire, and he still, I guess, is kind of like a guy that maybe you could say is an Andujar or perhaps a lightning in the bottle, race to the finish type of guy where you can maybe get lucky and he throws the ball relatively well.
Last 6 games, I have this in Reds MLB. He hasn't allowed a run. He's only allowed 1 hit last 7 innings. Still walked 4 over that span, but struck out 11. Yeah. So he's a guy that I think at some point you just got to say, he's not going to ever be perfect when you call him up. You're just going to have to roll the dice and bring him up. I don't think Tito's going to allow May and Maxwell to be in the same bullpen unless maybe you're in September and you have that extra reliever. Then maybe he's a little more willing for that. Yeah. Or May flips a corner, but today it's hard to see him flipping a corner anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean when you're at a 1.5 on the whip, you're kind of putting yourself in a spot where you're given too many opportunities. If you look at basically strikes a lot of guys out. I mean, he does strikes a lot of guys out, but walks guys too. So there's a reason he's not here. I think you found out today why Luis May at times wasn't here. So kind of is what it is. I mean, they look.
Luis May could come out tomorrow and pitch a dominant inning and it wouldn't surprise anyone.
No, of course not. They got the stuff. I mean, you can't say they don't have the goods. They got the goods. The question is can they effectively manage it? I don't know. As many of us know about baseball, pitching's more than just throwing the ball really, really hard. And they throw the ball hard, and it leaves them with a great chance to get guys out and definitely strike guys out, but it also leaves what we also really despised in Alexis Diaz, just to a certain extent. That's what those guys bring to the table. Walking the bases loaded with nobody out is possible. You can also strike the side out, come into a game with the bases loaded, and wouldn't surprise us either. So who knows what they do. All right.
There's a pretty good chance. Luis May is in AAA tomorrow.
Yeah,
I mean, like that. That's the kind of the Tito.
Yeah,
I want to say the Tito special. I'm not even saying this as like a negative thing. It's Tito, but like that's the one that he will not tolerate. He's made very clear. I'm not tolerating guys that walk the bases loaded. Well, he did it today, so
yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. It's not a negative towards Tito. I just think that he's if he has old school tendencies, which is he likes guys that put the ball in play, it seems, and he also likes guys that don't walk people. So maybe perhaps that's why they got Littell.
I like
as well.
one a lot better than the other.
Yeah, there you go. Fair enough. Hunter Green, he is on his way back, and that is positive news for us. The question is how good is he going to look when he returns? That's to be determined, but it's definitely a boost in the arm. It definitely seems like, if he can be back to what he was at one point this year, that gives this team a whole nother what I would call notch on the ladder of where they can go. And I think most people that are reasonable believe that. So I did not get to see the direct news. I don't know if you have direct news on Hunter Green.
He's starting on Wednesday.
Okay.
Starting on Wednesday against the Phillies. That's going to be, we'll talk about it in a minute, but that's going to be, I think, the toughest matchup for the Reds in that series against Christopher Sanchez, who's probably the best pitcher in baseball that a lot of people don't know about. He's having an incredible year. So, yeah, Green's coming off a start. He gave a couple of home runs in AAA in his final, but did retire the last 9 batters. And look, he's had times where he's come off starts in the minor leagues and not looked great, and then come to the majors and just completely dominated. I do think, though, because he's been hurt, I think people forget sometimes how good he's been. I mean, this guy had a 2.72 ERA this year. Last year had a 2.75 ERA. I mean, that's really, really good. And that's a massive step up from whoever he's replacing in the rotation. So I don't have like super high expectations that he's going to come back on Wednesday and dominate. I wouldn't put it past him. But I think it might take him a couple starts, but he completely changes this team, in my opinion.
I dare to say that they have to have him to do anything meaningful, because, I'll admit, like, they've played good baseball at times without him. They have, but I don't think it's a stretch to think that if they don't have him, the postseason is going to be. And again, I'm not trying to get ahead of ourselves here. Trust me. But if you genuinely want to talk about what is the goal here, is the goal just to make the postseason, or is the goal to try to break the curse, which is the longest drought in professional sports in this country of a franchise not advancing in the postseason? If that's the goal, is to break that, you need Hunter Green, and I'll leave it at that. Reds MILB. I know that on Sunday
You want to get to a couple?
Yeah, super chats. I can do. Yeah, I got plenty of super chats.
Big ones.
We do have some big ones because I see purple on the board, and we'll get to that in just a minute. I'm trying to find out where we left off. William said Spencer Steer's big hits lead to wins versus LAD, Los Angeles Dodgers, Chicago Cubs, and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Yeah, actually, that's what I was trying to remember earlier. I should have read that. I did not remember Chicago. But, yeah, he's had big moments where he's gotten big hits, even though he's won for his last 12. That one was a big hit, which leads to believe, like, what would you rather have? I mean, I know it sounds stupid, but if you guaranteed me that a guy was going to be, a 200 hitter, and he, in the 2 times that he does get hits, we're going to be some of the bigger moments of the game, I'd sign up for that over a guy that's going to get 3 hits out of every 10, lead the league in average, and then all of a sudden it just seems like every time you need him to get a big hit, he gets out. Now, of course, we all know that you can't possibly do that, but it does seem like Spencer Steer's been on the positive side of some big at-bats more so than the downside or the negative side. It's been a couple times where he hasn't been able to get a guy in from third base with less than 2 outs, but I'm not counting him. Let's jump to
Can I say
William.
something about that?
Yes, go ahead.
I was watching Friday night, and this is gonna make people mad. The whole getting guys over to third base, I don't see the joy out of that anymore. Especially, it's one thing if you have a quality at bat and you hit a ball hard to the right side and you move the guy over, but like just going up there and weakly hitting a ground ball, like this purposely try to move the runner over, like it felt like Brian Hayes and Gavin Lux did. I just don't think in today's baseball there's any value to that. Because like players strike out, like the league average strikeouts is like 22%. Like back when we were kids, it was like 15%. It's just these pitchers are so good that I just don't think you can go up there and waste an at bat trying to move a guy over anymore. You have to take your shots and try to hit the ball hard and put damage on it.
It's a fair take. That's a fun, debatable take. I would say you're definitely right if there's one out in the inning. And I would also say time and score matters a lot. I think people undervalue time and score way too much in baseball. And what I mean by that is, for those that are wondering what the hell I mean, time is simply what the inning is, and the score is obviously what the score of the game is. If you told me that you're down by 1 run, and let's just say it's the 8th inning of the game, and it's a 2-1 baseball game, and there's nobody out, and you got a leadoff double, I think getting the guy to third base carries a little more weight than what, call it a 0-0 game in the first inning. Now, some are going to say, well, 1 run's the same. I don't think 1 run's always the same. It depends on the flow of the game. It depends on who you're facing, what the other team's strengths are. If they have a really good bullpen, well, you just know that it's probably going to be difficult maybe to find a way to get guys across. I don't know, Nick, really, to be honest with you. And again, I can't speak for every hitter that played high level baseball, but as I've said before, I'll say it again, like once you get to a certain level within the game, the only difference between guys that make it to the major leagues and the guys that play at kind of the levels that we played at, I know people are going to be shocked by this, is really just God-given ability. I mean, is things that you just can't teach, because they're capable of doing that and they can't. But it doesn't mean the mindset changes a whole lot. I don't think there's that many people, Nick, that are genuinely trying to hit the ball the right side weekly. I would say more or less you could focus on an area of a pitch location maybe and say, okay, I'm going to look for a ball that's middle or middle away and try to hit it hard. There should never be, to be clear, I would hope not at least, there should never be anyone trying to hit a ball weakly anywhere. I do think if you're left-handed, you look for a ball that's down the middle and or middle in, and you try to make sure that you put a good swing on it, and you're trying to basically pull. But to be clear, you should only do that with nobody out, if you ever even consider doing it. So anytime you hear somebody say, and I'll say this out loud, I don't mean any by disrespect, but it's going to sound very disrespectful. Anybody says that they did a job there, they did a job there, they moved the runner over, and there's 1 out in the inning, and they got the guy to third base, and now there's 2 outs in the inning, you sound like an idiot. It just sounds stupid. It really does. It's a dumb thing to do. You didn't do shit. Kids Show at 521. You didn't do anything. You got the guy to third base with 2 outs. I mean, you're playing Major League Baseball. You might get a pass ball once every, 100 games. So I'm somewhat with you. I'm not totally buying into that, but I do think it's a fun baseball topic to discuss. And I do agree with the sentiment that you have. If more guys strike out, the value of getting a guy to third base with less than, call it 2 outs is not nearly as high as it once was. And I think that the way the analytics are, I hate to say this, but bringing guys into playing in, I think has become a much, it's grown over the years. I don't think many teams concede runs like they used to in the past, right? Like, let's not bring the infield in. It's the 5th inning. We don't want to give up an extra hit. Like, no, these dudes infields are coming in earlier in the games to where I think it makes it harder to get the guy in from third base with less than 2 outs. Because before, to your point, you could roll over another ground ball, Nick, and score the run. Well, if you roll over a ground ball anymore today's game, I feel like more times they're ready to throw the guy out at home than to sit back and just take the out at first base. So you're on to something. I mean, the game's changed significantly. And I know it's passed some people by in regards to the way that it obviously operates, and they think that, they go to the baseball game and they see a guy hitting 260 and they don't think he's very good. I mean, that still happens, which that's not the case anymore.
260 is the 280. I mean,
yeah,
maybe higher. I don't know.
Might be higher. I'd argue that might be a little bit higher. Fair point. Where else are we going on this lovely Sunday? William Wright says Barlow's the unsung out of the bullpen. I think he's trying to say hero. Yeah, I think it's fair. Barlow is by far the best surprise we've had. I mean, Santillan has been very, very good, yes, but I think you came into the year thinking, maybe we could lean on him a little bit. Pagan was one of your veterans. Barlow was a guy that I think many of us could care less if he was in there or not. He's done a good job filling in Fernando Cruz, if you want to be honest with you. The void that we lost with Fernando Cruz, Barlow just said, I'll take that.
Shockingly, Fernando Cruz is on the David Bell IL.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Nice.
I mean, like the most obvious, like that guy's not going to survive a season. I mean, I legitimately think that was part of the reason they traded him. Like you can, like they literally ran that guy into the ground last year, and then traded him for Trevino.
Yeah, well, you're saying they sold damaged goods. Ned Flanders says, is the 2025 Luis May experiment over? Are we going to stick with him and hope for improvement? That was rough today. Good super chat. I think we kind of covered that accidentally throughout the show. I'd venture to say they're not going to. No, I don't think they will. If they do, he's not going to be coming in at any type of what I would call even remote leverage situations. Like I think it's going to have to be a spot where they're either up by a good amount or down by a good amount. And by up by a good amount, Nick, I think it's got to be like 6 or 7 runs. I don't. Maybe I'm crazy for saying that, but
yeah. I mean, if he stays, it's just more of a not making a move because of you're running out of. It's a like you can only send these guys up and down 5 times throughout a year.
I didn't mean it that way. To be clear.
You already have been Scooter on the roster right now. Yasver Zulueta pitched terribly today. I don't think he's not even eligible to come back. So they have like Joe LaSorsa still on the 40-man. He might be it. He might be the only one that's still. Lyon has pitched bad at AAA. Connor Phillips is like almost a worse version of Luis May, if I'm being honest. Like, yeah, he might stay, but it's not going to be because of a belief in him.
Yeah, I didn't mean options in regards to getting sent up and down 5 times. I meant just that they don't really have anyone else that you could say is going to do a whole lot better of a job. I mean, that's And the truth be told, like kind of what Matt McClain was earlier this year at times, where you're like, man, he's not playing well at all, but who are you going to put there? Well, what's the alternative? And then you try to sit there and you go, well, maybe it isn't so bad after all.
LaSorsa would make a lot of sense though with Schwarber, with Harper, with Marsh, Kepler, Stott. They have a lot of lefties in Philly, and the Brewers have a decent amount of lefties too. So he's on the 40-man. He did not pitch today for Louisville. So if you see that move at 3:00 tomorrow, you heard it here first.
There you go. Well, big brain by you as always. The only thing I would add to that is I don't know how much this baseball team seems to care about righty-lefty matchups, but that's here nor there. Reynolds, Reynolds 777 says, thank you guys for sharing your Reds love. We appreciate that. Thank you for sharing yours. We have a significant amount of people in the chat tonight, and I want to say thank you to all of you. If you have not already, hit the like button. Michael Roth chiming in again with the big old supers. The biggest bomb supers. All the supers. I mean, not only did my man go 50 bomb, he then turned around and said, I got more to say with a $10. He said, I almost missed the show. House tasks are a real B. I think he meant real boring, for those that are wondering. When your wife is pregnant, or anytime really, you better be careful, Rolf. Why am I painting doors and replacing shutters after 5 years in this house? Chromosomes. Are we back? Are we back? ATOBTTR. I'm not commenting on any of that stuff prior to are we back. I am not touching with a 10-foot pole. I've already got myself in a little bit of trouble when I came home. I guess what I would call from work today, and I was a little short. I was a little short fused, if I'm being honest. Might have made a mistake, a little snappy in the wrong direction. So we're gonna stay away from the topics that is wives. Are we back yet? Yeah, we're back. We're a game and a half back, to be exact. It's significant in regards to being genuinely having meaningful baseball is what I'm trying to get to. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I had this team dead, man. Like, not that I wanted to come on here and be like doom and gloom, but just always watch them and I think, man, they're just not good enough. They're not good enough. Like, why are we surprised they're not good enough? And then they just reel you back in. They find a way to play good baseball. They scored 14 runs today, Nick. They hit the ball hard. They hit the ball hard, man. Like, it is insane. Like, this team is so stupid. Genuinely. One of the dumbest teams out. ATOBTTR, for those that don't know what that means, and those belongs to Red. Nick, got anything to add to that?
I mean, they scored 5 runs in the 4 previous games.
Yeah. No, it's ridiculous. The run differential, and you know what they do? Like today, I should say, not tonight. Today felt like they needed them, so I'm all for it, Nick. I'm not complaining they scored 14 runs, but this stupid baseball team that we watch seems like they inevitably do this. They'll go score 17 runs and win 17-2. They'll score 23, and obviously in Baltimore that we'll never forget or whatever it was. I don't even know. It was 26 or 23 at this point. I forget. My point in saying that is then our lovely friends like Nick Kirby will bring up about, well, look at this offense. I mean, look how many runs we score. Look, compare us to the rest of the league. Our offense ain't that bad. Like, ain't that bad. We're on like a historic pace to score 2 or less runs than almost any team in the live ball era. I don't want to alarm anybody, but that's a real thing, Nick. I'm being serious. That's a real thing. This baseball team that we watch and we love, they are on pace to set historical records on a season of scoring 2 runs or less in a baseball game. But you know what? They'll reel you right back in because they'll score 14 when they give up 8, and they find a way to split against the Pittsburgh Pirates. And somebody like Nick can come on and tell you how the rest of the season, from a holistic view, they're not that bad.
I think they lost the run differential in this Pirates series by a run, if my quick math is right.
Well, I can tell you right now, I'm not good at math, and I'm not good at run differentials. In fact, I would say that's the last thing I look at on the standings. But teach their own. Rolf says 519 billion people watching and only 200 likes. Hit that thumbs up, people. Got to keep Kirby's lights on because the Bengals are about to shut off all the power in Cleveland in less than a month. That's a hell of a super. That's big brain thinking from Rolf, by the way. You got to be honest. He knows you're in Cleveland. He knows the Bengals are headed up there, and he's ready to turn the lights off on the whole city.
I can assure you, I have no it does not
concerns?
bother me one bit who does anything in the NFL. Yeah, the Reds got outscored by 1 run this week, went 4-3.
Boy, I tell you what, I can't believe it. What are we going to do with ourselves? We lost the run differential. I just can't. Are we good or not? Are we good or are we not? Are we good or are we not? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I want to say, can we have a heart-to-heart right now?
Yes.
I don't think that we're great. I don't think we're great. But this is like the first time I've ever in my life watched the Reds and felt like I didn't have a great pulse on them. I genuinely feel like the last few years I knew what we had. I had a pretty good thumb on it. I just don't think we're going to get it. But you know what? If you'd have told me that we were going to have a show on August the 10th, Nick, and we're a game and a half back, and we're finding ourselves in a spot where we have our ace coming back from the injured list, and he's not been around for what has been basically I don't know at this point, 2 months. I would have basically lost everything I own. There's no way it's possible. That's what's so sick about this. This team sucks. But are they actually good because they're only a game and a half because they've sucked so bad? I don't know. I'm serious. I can't figure it out. My brain is gone with this baseball team. I'm just going to say they suck because I think every time I think they suck, they actually play well, genuinely. And every time I think they're good, I was on vacation. I was like, man, what a big What a big series stand that was. Like the Reds are playing good ball, real good ball. And they turn around and just absolutely laid an egg for the next week. And they found themselves sliding and sliding and sliding again. So, yeah, I'm just going to continue to say they're not very good. Watch them prove me wrong. Anyway, Reds in my LB.
Yeah, I'm with you. I do have to. I saw a chat.
Oh yeah.
Very curious if you know this.
What?
Nick said the chat said Nick said Luis May was the future closer. I don't. Did I ever say that?
No.
I don't remember saying that.
No, I don't think
I like anyone being the closer.
No, I think, Nick, what happens is people put words in your mouth a lot. You know, they do. They put words in your mouth a lot. Yeah, people are very mean to you. There's a lot of people that are not nice to me, but there's more people that are very mean to you.
I don't even know if that was mean. I just, like, I don't think I said he was a closer. I think, I'll say it right now. I think he could be a future closer. Like, yeah. I just don't think I've ever actually said that. At least get it right. But yeah, I'll say it now. I think he could be a future closer.
Oh God, no, he's not. Who knows? Who the hell can predict a future closer anyways? Like, those guys just come out of thin air, I should say.
Emilio Pagan is our closer.
Yeah, exactly.
Who thought that 6 months ago?
Yeah, no. What about Luke Weaver? Did you have that one on the bingo card?
Yeah. Devin Williams sucks now.
Yeah. That's because he left Milwaukee. They got some magic potion up there that every time a bastard leaves the place, they find a way to steal his secret sauce.
Burns is getting Tommy John again. Like, I mean,
no, it's
there
sick.
is crazy shit that happens in Milwaukee.
Right. Definitely not a kid show anymore, by the way, if you're still listening. So Nick's going to have to do some bleeping or take it all out of the podcast because there won't be a kid show in the morning.
All right, Reds in my LB?
Yeah, let's do it. What did Louisville do?
Louisville won 9-6 over Toledo. Benson on base twice, 1 for 3 with a walk. CES only got one at bat. He left the game in the half inning after his first at bat. Watched a little bit of it. I didn't see any obvious reason for his exit, so we'll keep you in on that. Sal Stewart 1 for 4 with a double. Hector Rodriguez stayed hot, 2 for 4 with a double. Reese Hines had a huge day, 3 for 5 with a triple and 2 doubles. Tell you what, Hines had a great year. 305 average, 969 OPS in 80 games at AAA. Whether you love or hate Reese Hines, he was not good at AAA last year, so it's good to see him showing significant improvement this year. Zach Maxwell, as mentioned earlier, threw an inning and a third, gave up a hit and a walk, but no runs. Maxwell's not allowed to run in his last 6 appearances. That's 7 innings, 1 hit, 0 runs. Does have 4 walks, but has struck at 11. Maxwell hit 100.9 on Sunday. Buck Farmer threw a perfect inning with a strikeout. Yasver Zulueta, his return to AAA was not great. Walked 3 of the 4 batters he faced, and only 5 of his 17 pitches were strikes. Jose Franco threw 3 shutout innings, 4 strikeouts, 2 walks. Down to Chattanooga. They only got 3 hits on Sunday, but they beat Birmingham 1-0. Lookouts, they won the last 3 games of that series. They're now 57-47 on the year, and it's kind of, I'm sure, good for Chattanooga because they're most likely going to play Birmingham in the first round of the playoffs. Birmingham has a 7.5 game lead for a second half playoff spot. So these are the 2 teams that would match up. Birmingham, the White Sox affiliate, they've got a loaded farm system. Obviously not a whole lot in a game where they only had 3 hits. Cam Collier, he's really struggling. 0 for 3 with a walk. He is 3 for 35. That's an 0.86 average over his last 11 games. Edwin Arroyo, 1 for 4. Some good stuff, though, in the bullpen. Trevor Kunsel, local kid from Cincinnati. Another scoreless inning from him. He recorded a 16th save of the year, 1.45 ERA in 37 and a third innings. And R.I. Franson, 2 shutout innings, struck out 2 batters. One of the more talented relievers in the Reds minor league system. Dayton, they fell 7-5 to Lake County. Dragons lost number 70 of the season. They are 34-70. Carlos Jorge, 3 for 5, still his 33rd base of the season. Nice day from Anthony Steffen, 2 for 5. He was the Reds' 13th round pick last year out of Virginia. He's hitting 355 in the month of August. And then one other note, Victor Acosta on Friday was placed on the temporary inactive list. And last but not least, Daytona got a big win, 12-5 over Jupiter. Tortuga is now just a half game out of a second half playoff spot. Alfredo Duno, another huge day, on base 3 times, had a double. He leads the Florida State League with a .416 on base percentage, second in OPS, 865. He's hitting a nice .321 with a .500 on base percentage in August. Arnaldo Lantigua, another big day, 3 for 4, double, 2 walks, stole a base. He's hitting .310 so far in 15 games since getting promoted. Kyle Henley, 2 stolen bases, now is 43 on the year. And Ichiro Kano made his low A debut, the greatest name in the Reds minor league. 2 for 4 with a double and a walk. Kano had a .437 on base percentage in the ACL, so hopefully he can keep it up at Daytona. Tyson Lewis got the day off. Cole Schoenwetter got rocked again. He's really struggled. That is your Reds MILB.
And that was an elite Reds MILB, by the way. I just want you to know. That was
I didn't even read all the
rundown.
names. I mean, I skipped some.
You, full rundown. It was elite. Graphics for each one. You really put the work in. You got to give credit where credit is due. Speaking of credit where credit is due, Michael Rolfe is back at it again. He said no free ads, but I was on a site today that allows money towards sports teams to accomplish certain objectives. The Reds have plus 2,500 shorter odds to win the NLCS than the Giants, and the exact same as the Mets. Yeah, I mean, listen, if you'd have told me that, a month ago the Reds were going to have the same exact odds to win the NLCS as the New York Mets, I would have thought, again, I'm living in Looney Tune land. And I guess I'll continue to think I'm living there because...
What odds are this? What is this on?
Well, that's a good point. I didn't look at him, to be fair. I just went off of Rolfe and assumed that he was right. Are you talking about the NLCS or are you talking about the playoffs? Because I think those are two different things. And to make sure you're looking at the correct thing, Nick.
Okay.
Yeah or no?
No, I think that I'm not sure.
Right?
I don't.
All right,
I don't think
we got a great debate here. All right. Well, Rolfe, we appreciate it, but
love your Rolfe. Though.
Yeah, Rolfe. Some people are saying that might not be true. I don't know. I'm not. Listen, I'm just the middleman. Okay, I'm the middleman. Don't shoot the messenger. I'm just trying to keep the show moving here in a positive direction. Rolfe could be using. I think this would be a funny joke. I think we could all
win
make a
the
funny
NLCS
joke.
and the Giants, and the same as the Mets.
Yeah.
I mean, that's great value on the Mets. I'm sorry.
Oh my!
Have you seen that,
dude? You can't take this dude anywhere, man. I mean, seriously, you can't take this guy anywhere. All right. I mean, Nick's the kind of guy that when you go to the grocery store and they have the cost per ounce or per piece or whatever the hell else they do, he's got his magnifying glass looking at them all and going, wow, this one's priced at 0.012 per piece. That one's priced at 0.016 per piece. This one's the better value. This one's the better value. This is the one that we're going with. Nick, the bread, one's $2.89, the other one's $2.49. Just pick whichever one you like. But I can't hate you.
If they're both plus 2,500, that's incredible because Fangraphs has they don't have the NLCS, but to win the World Series, the Reds are 0.2 and the Mets are 5.2%. So if you're getting the same odds, that's pretty wild.
Right.
Or it could be a lazy sports book.
Yeah, I was gonna say perhaps it was on Betfred, but I didn't want to go there.
I was just going to say a lazy sports book. I was going to say anyone.
I mean, I'll say whatever the hell I want to say. That's how I feel about it.
Atlantic 10 odds.
Yeah.
George Washington.
I feel like it's late enough in the night to go down the wire, which is hilarious things that happen on Betfred Sportsbook at one point. Are we past the show or no? Are we past the show? I'd love to tell one story. Can I tell one story?
Please do.
You can cut it in the podcast if you like. But these people in here are up late. And you know what? They deserve a good story. So we at one time had a relationship with a sports book that might go unnamed. Might have been a guy named Fred that made a book. And here's the deal. we go to this opening event, and the NFL is going on. It's the last week of the regular season, all right? I've never had an interaction with this sports book. Not a day in my life. Never met them. Don't know anything. But we just signed a deal. Wanted to go down there, show our face, make sure that they knew that we cared about them. And I wanted to, start to show my appreciation by giving them my business. And I loaded some money into the sportsbook app. This is a true story. Now, some people are going to think this might not be true, but you might believe it when I tell you that they ended up not making it in Ohio, and this might be the reason why. Not this specific one, but maybe the mindset behind the company. That said, not to kick a dog when it's down, not to beat a dead horse, but the truth of the matter is this. I look up at the television after putting $100 into the app, and I seen Tampa Bay Buccaneers were celebrating on the field, right? They were celebrating quite literally after the game. I look down at the app. I'm scrolling the app, blah, blah, blah. I click on futures. On the futures tab, everybody, it said odds to win the NFC, I think it's South. I don't know the NFL off the top of my head that well, but I'm pretty sure it was the NFC South. And I looked at it, and it said minus 300 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I clicked on it. It highlighted. It went into my betting slip. I then looked back up at the TV again, and there was a graphic at the bottom that said NFC South champions, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This was Tom Brady. I looked at it. I looked back at my phone. I looked back up at the screen. I put $500 more back into my account, and I put $600. The first bet that I ever made was $600, and if I would have had it all back, I would have put the entire amount of money I had that I could possibly do in the account. And I bet that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were going to win the NFC South. I click submit. It posts. It's sitting there in my bet slip. Minus 300, them to win the NFC South. I kept looking up the screen. Now I think I screwed up because I'm like, wait a minute. What did I just bet on? I look at the screen, look down, look at the screen. I kid you not. 20 minutes later, it cashed. I won like whatever it was. I think I won $200 because I put $600 down on a minus $300 bet. I won $200 in 20 minutes by looking at something that already happened that was in the app. Insane. Hopefully somebody thought that story was funny and or cool, but might be a little bit of insight why Mr. Fred ain't around anymore. Anyway, we do have more baseball to be played, Nick. A little who, what, when, where, and why. You've already rallied the troops to try to get them to the ballpark. You want this homestand to be raucous. You want this homestand to give the Reds players, you want them to know that we are fully behind them. We want them to do this thing for us. I think they know that, but maybe this is an opportunity to make it very clear.
All right, Reds taking on the Phillies starting on Monday. We got some wild start times in the series. Monday, 6:10, Tuesday, 6:40, Wednesday, 5:10. Andrew Abbott against Taijuan Walker on Monday. Tuesday, Brady Singer against Ranger Suarez. And Wednesday, Chase Burns against Christopher Sanchez. Phillies come in 68-49. That is the second best record in the National League. They have a 5.5 game lead in the NL East with the Mets' recent struggles. They are 7-2 in August. Now, the Phillies are 31-28 on the road, have not been nearly as good as at home, where they're 37-21. Reds, of course, lost 2 of 3 against the Phillies July 4th week, but the Reds did go 4-3 against the Phillies last season. Kyle Schwarber's been incredible. Bryce Harper's been really good. Player you probably don't know about is Brandon Marsh. He's having a monster second half for the Phillies. Reds do miss Zach Wheeler in this series. Kind of good, but they're still going to face good pitching. The Phillies have just ridiculous pitching. Taijuan Walker, he's been in and out of the rotation. Was looking like a DFA candidate earlier in the year. Was just in the rotation to fill in for Aaron Nola, who's on the IL, but he's pitched really well of late, coming off 6 shutout innings against the Orioles. Tuesday, Ranger Suarez was incredible early in the year, dominated the Reds earlier this year. But he has an ERA of almost 6 over his last 4 starts. But in my opinion, the toughest matchup will be on Wednesday. Christopher Sanchez, a 1.52 ERA over his last 9 starts. He's only allowed 1 earned run or less in 8 of his last 9 starts. Andrew Abbott tomorrow, though, he had the shortest start of his season against the Phillies earlier this year. Only went 3 1/3 innings, walked 5 batters in that start. So hopefully he can respond. And the Reds, they are 7 games behind the Phillies. So if somehow you did sweep the Phillies, you would get the tiebreaker over them as well. It could give you potentially another path just in case, because the Mets and the Phillies both play each other still 7 more times. Just in case the Mets got really hot, swept those series, or went 6-1 against the Phillies or something. It's a long shot, but it wouldn't hurt to gain some ground on the Phillies.
Yeah, if gaining ground on the Phillies means that the Reds continue to win baseball games and get themselves in a spot where they get closer to 88 wins, I'm all for it, right? I don't know what the exact number is going to need to be, Nick, but it definitely feels like it's going to take about 88 wins. If it's any more than 88 wins, man, what a disappointing outcome to what we thought we were going to need to have. I mean, we've watched teams get in with 84 wins, 85 wins. And now we're probably genuinely looking at 88. And if it goes north of 88, it wouldn't shock me.
If it's 80, if it's 85, if it's 90, I could see it being either one. The Mets are just they're such an unpredictable team, because that team clearly has the talent, but
right,
they're also in a tailspin right now. So I think Fangraphs still has them at 87 is the number they have. And again, I usually lean on that, but they're a team that I could see it. I could see it being less, or I could see it being more. It's really hard to predict what they do, and they do have a tougher schedule. I mean, not as tough as the Reds, but they do have the 11th toughest schedule. They don't have any games against the Rockies left like the Padres do. They don't have any games against the White Sox left. They have a bunch of games against the Nationals. They have a bunch of games against the Braves, and it's very fortunate that they're getting to play the Braves now versus earlier in the year, but they don't have an easy schedule.
Yeah, I mean, the schedule, as I said at the beginning of the show, it is what it is. But they've played well, so against difficult teams. So it's, I don't know. The fact that we are in the position we are in seems like a miracle. So I'm going to take it. I am going to take it and run, and yeah. All right, folks. Before we head off, please do us a favor if you haven't already. Hit the like button. We've got a significant amount of people that have been in here. We also have more people that obviously watch this game or watch this show on the back end. If you don't mind, hit the like button. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever else you may get your podcast. Please go leave us a review, and we very much appreciate your guys' support. Not just watching and not just listening, but even being engaged in the chat and again, kind of building a community is really the whole purpose and the goal of what we've done. And I hope people kind of, I guess for lack of a better term, understand our appreciation or know that. I know, again, I say this all the time, but it sounds like we're kind of just doing the song and dance of saying things like, no, I mean, it's a genuine thing that we've built here, and when I say we've built it, it's been a lot of us. It's all of us, and you telling your friends about us, and you even sharing, kind of just the fact that you love this or enjoy it. I see many of you out and about, and you say, "Yeah, I got my dad watching now," or I got my sister watching. It's like that's how we make it. I mean, that's how we make it. We don't have a significant amount of money to go out and put advertising out everywhere that we have this show. So each and every voice that kind of gives us an opportunity to continue to do this, we say thanks. So Reds win. Reds have now found a way to reel us all the way back in, and I am hopeful that we find a way to have one of the most insane homestands that we've ever had, and I am looking forward. To the Brewers series, bud. I'm looking forward to it. I you know what? I might treat those games when I watch it like I'm playing. Every pitch. I'm not going to miss a pitch. Not going to miss a pitch. So, all right, folks. I'll go dunk a basketball because I think that's what many people, want me to do. I don't know if I'm in the spot in my life where I should be dunking basketballs. I'm getting old. Some are saying my muscles aren't working the way they used to, but you know what? Maybe they're still working good enough to be an athlete. Nick, final parting thoughts before we head off and I guess, for lack of a better term, being back here better than ever tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, big week for the Reds. The Mets do have a favorable schedule the next couple weeks, so I think the next couple weeks are just you're trying to keep it close. If you're, I mean, nothing surprises you this year, but I think if you just like even if you lose like a game or two over the next couple weeks, I think that's mostly okay. But yeah, I mean, we're just really trying to survive the next couple weeks.
Yeah, if you're a game and a half out in 2.5 weeks, you feel great, right?
I'd say even if you're 3. I mean, honestly, kind of when you look at the two schedules, I think if you just kept it like within 3. But tomorrow's huge because the Mets are off tomorrow, so you could get that to 1 game, but automatically with just a win. So tomorrow's a huge game, and Andrew Abbott on the mound.
Yep, and we weren't able to take advantage of Andrew Abbott being on the mound the last time he was, so we'll see if we can do it this time. Until next time, this is myself going to go try and be an athlete. But as always, love you, appreciate you. Go Reds, and we'll see if I still have it in the tank to be somewhat of an athlete. So here we go. Athlete.